Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is August 17, 2021, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, now it's Apple's turn to break out higher to new record highs. We're going to take a look at that in just a second. But first, looking at the major economic events out of the day coming out from the United States at 2:30 South African time. It's a monthly core retail sales number coming out. Now, looking at the various markets, a lot of activity in the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar and the South African rand as it gains significantly. Now, looking at the indices, the NASDAQ pretty much unchanged and the Dow sells off. Now, looking at commodities, gold continues to gain while oil trades lower. And in terms of the stocks, Apple and Microsoft continue to gain on the upside. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin retracing. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're going to start here with the Aussie USD because that is a major pair. Nothing really happening with the Euro USD. It's really quiet and not doing much. But look at this nice retracement here. Look at this weakness coming out of the Aussie dollar versus the USD as it's going down to this 72-ish level. Now, this is a significant level because if we look at a daily chart, we haven't been in this area for quite some time. This is the low of the year. So this is really very important as the dollar is gaining. Okay, now when we look at the GBP USD also had gained as well. But when we look at the euro, really not doing much. Okay, so this is why I'm focusing on this major pairs because the activity is happening here. Now, when we look at the secondaries, okay, and this is really important. If we do break this 137-ish level, so 70, 90-ish level, we could see it back down to 137.50-ish level as well. Okay, now looking at the Aussie dollar, if we do continue to break this level, because this was a previous resistance, if we do continue to break this level at 72.85, we could see it back in the 71.50-ish level. Okay, and that's a significant retracement since we've been up almost at 80 going back in February. Now looking at the rand. The rand is trading at 14.93, a nice little push higher. Now, we do have resistance at 15, okay? So if it does break that 15, that's a very important level. We could surely see it going to 15.5 versus the USD. Looking at the Canadian dollar as well, we're looking at a daily chart. It's at 126.17 and also in a previous resistance, previous supportish level. So if we do break that, we could see it back in this 127.5 level. Okay, you can see that nice little breakout as well. And so there is a little bit of a resistance at this area, but it's hit this area once before back in mid-July. So this can be broken as well. Now looking at the gold, we continued pushing higher yesterday from 1770-ish level up to 1791 as we're making a comeback in gold. Now again, we are trading in a wide range here, so just keep that in mind. Now looking at oil also, again, we're retracing just subtly here, okay, as we had this little pivot upwards, but altogether, again, we're trading in a range, okay? Both commodities are still trading in a range. Now looking at the Dow Jones, we retraced significantly, excuse me, from 35,500-ish level down to 35,370, okay, which is a decent sell-off. Not really much to discuss there. 130 points, not a big deal. But when we look at the NASDAQ, really unchanged. And this is my question. Why? Because when we look at the major stocks, okay, we look at the Facebook, the Apple, the Amazon, the Facebook, excuse me, the Microsoft, and Apple, they are breaking out higher. Looking at Apple, 149.03, a new record high for the year. As we look at that, now look at a daily chart, you could see that quite clearly as this is coming up on the upside. Now looking at Microsoft also on its dead highs, making a new high yesterday and closing on its highs. Okay, so that's a very significant. Facebook also perked up yesterday for the first time in quite some time. Now, as we look at Alcoa, we saw a retracement there, okay, as this did take a little bit of a profit taking there, and we look at JP Morgan as well, it did retrace as well. So the big board stocks are retracing. The high tech is on its way up, so it's just nice to see some catch up from the NASDAQ, that it's following through on the stocks. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, we did take a little bit of a break yesterday, down to 45, which is not a major sell-off, okay, especially since we've gone so nicely over the past month and a half, month-ish level. So with that said, you know, a little bit of a retracement here on consolidation between 47,000 and 45,500 is quite understandable, okay? So just keep that in mind, that we may perk above this 45,500-ish level. That may be a spot where we will bounce. This is Fred Razak, and I wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.